Welcome to this week's edition of the Belau Report. I'm Jane Belau. Our guest this week is the outgoing chairwoman of the Olmsted County Board of Commissioners, Stephanie Podulke. And Stephanie, you've got quite a report of accomplishments for the past year. And you have a new chairman.
We have a new chairman. Commissioner Mark Tyne is now our chair for the next year.
And that just happened this morning, which is the day that we're recording this program.
That's right.
For this week. So
you're looking at a free woman.
Well, it looks like your accomplishments have been really good. And when you campaigned, what was your main premise?
I wanted us to get through COVID and still be financially stable. COVID has caused a lot of not only emotional and health problems, but financial problems. You know, the whole country is in a problem. So we even had a 0% levy increase in our property taxes, but that meant we really had to tighten our belt for some services, while we had to enhance our services to respond to COVID.
And what part of the COVID experience affected the county most?
We had to transfer people from other departments into our emergency operations center. So we had to not only, we gave out almost 25,000 vaccines, but we had to coordinate with schools, we had to coordinate with law enforcement, we had to coordinate with people who were confined to their homes and couldn't get groceries or get out to, needed their medicine delivered to them. We had to take care of all of that problems, which was an additional thing. So we had to pull some people out of their regular jobs to staff the Emergency Operations Center.
Wow.
So that affected us.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't realize in the addressing of the problems that there were this many aspects to it, and that the county took so much of that.
We did take in the Olmsted County Board is the Public Health Board.
Yeah.
So we took that responsibility really seriously. And we worked with schools, and we worked with other cultures. There were some cultures that needed translating of, or needed reassurance that the vaccine was safe for them, and that took some extra work as well.
No politics, of course.
What do you mean when you say that?
No, it somehow the interpretation of the vaccine and the vaccinations got involved in politics, but we're
that part.
No,
that didn't. No, it wasn't about that. It was for us to keep this community healthy. After all, we have millions during the year of immunocompromised people who visit Olmsted County to go for their medical care at Mayo. We need to keep our community safe. We had to work with restaurants on how they could serve and stay in business and try to keep as many in business as we could. When we think back about the last 2 years and what we knew when we started and what we know now is amazing, what we've learned.
Yeah, I remember when I started, and I remember how it is now and how far we have to go yet.
Well, we just had a report this morning. We looked at the graph of number of cases, and it's almost a complete duplicate of November and December of last year.
Really?
Yes, it's really discouraging to see that, although the new variant seems to be a little milder and doesn't require so much hospitalization if you've been vaccinated. But, so we made a joke this morning of when did things get better last year? When did the chart start to go down? And it was March 12th. So we just made a joke that by March 12th this spring we should be well on our way to recovery. I hope from my mouth to God's ear that happens.
I hope you're right. I hope you're right. Because with all the people working at home, the downtown is looking for some source of customers and eaters and
Right.
other
It's just
people.
been amazing how so many small niche businesses couldn't survive. And hopefully they'll come back, because those were businesses that made our city charming, I thought. And it's been hard on lots of people.
Yeah. And we were a caring community when this started, and we are more of a caring community now.
Yep.
So, well, all right, your emergency center was busier?
Our emergency center was busy 24/7 with just all the extra needs that popped up. People needing extra care that they couldn't provide for themselves when they've been forced to quarantine, when they're sick.
So the emergency center and then the homeless.
The homeless.
And that was one of the issues that many people ran on the last time, and you've made great progress.
We have, the county has, we built a new development of ours called Maywood 1 out behind the rivers, if you know, sort of near Apache Mall, for 30 people, homeless people who have behavioral health issues. So they have services there, but they have a safe place to live. And we all know, if we know where we're going to sleep tonight, and we know where our Campbell's soup can is, and we know where our stuff is, and we know that we're safe, then our the path of our life can take a different direction, and we can start to realize our potential and live good lives. So providing that stability for people who were homeless is important.
That's Maywood 1.
That's Maywood 1. We bought a building downtown called 105 North Broadway, which was kind of a hotel, and it's I'm trying to think, I think we have 18 units in that, right on Broadway near the mosque, in Wellhaven Music in that area. We used that for quarantine for homeless people when things were really difficult. We still have some rooms set aside for that, but people actually rent a space that's theirs. And a lot of people who are homeless still have income. You know, they are on Social Security or they have some kind of benefits, so they are investing in their place of where they live. So it's not just that we give it to them, but we provide it and we subsidize it for them. We also have another place called the Creek, which is for homeless people. We're looking at, we did a $100,000 upgrade in our warming shelter, so we could have a space that was for males and females, and better facilities for people. But we know that that's kind of temporary, so we have to think about a new place to build a shelter. Interesting thing that we've learned, it used to be streets, shelter, permanent housing. But there was a big shift. We found out that it should be streets, hotels, permanent housing. That a shelter isn't really the answer. But if you rent a hotel room, for example, for someone, that's a safe place where they know they're going to be, they can get their life back on track. But if they're worried about, will there be a bed for me in the shelter tonight? What am I going to do when the shelter closes at 8 in the morning? That takes up all their time. And they don't have time to realize the potential in a better way. So that is a big shift in thinking. Streets, hotels, permanent housing. So we are providing that as well. And we now have a thing called the Eco Center. I always forget what that stands for. Environmental, no. Let me see. It's called Empowering Connections and Housing Outreach, the Eco Center. It's right next to the Warming Center. So people are there first thing in the morning. We can catch people as the warming shelter closes and find out what services they need, how we can help them. And so that's another wonderful thing we've done to help with homelessness.
Have you had a lot of hiring, or are you using existing county employees, or?
The Catholic Charities runs the Warming Center.
Okay.
We invest in that, and we give them money, but they run the programming for that, and we appreciate that. And I'm trying to remember at 105 Broadway, it could be Catholic Charities as well. They have really stepped up during this crisis and for homelessness to be available.
Are we seeing an influx of immigrants, legal and otherwise?
I'm trying to remember. It seems like we're going to get somewhere between 70 and 100 Afghan people into our community, and they come in through IMAA and I think Catholic Charities and DePaul, is it? There's a Catholic group called DePaul, I think, that also helps people find housing. And the Afghan people who are already settled here also step up and help them learn about this new way and their new life. Can you imagine?
And language.
Our language, our food, our customs. I lived out of the country for 4 years, and I can remember how much, I hate to say this, how much I really wanted a McDonald's cheeseburger sometimes, or my kind of peanut butter. I mean, just the sort of funny things that we miss when we have to move into a totally new place, a new culture, a new food, new way of living, new climate, new clothes.
And how many Afghans do we have?
Well, I'm thinking it's going to be between 75 and 100. How many are already settled here? I don't know. I don't know that answer.
Okay.
And the Sisters of St. Francis are very busy helping the Spanish community get settled in. So we have so many languages now that are spoken in our public schools. It's amazing the people we've welcomed here and are enhancing life. They bring with them new ideas and new ways to think about things and new energy and enthusiasm for, what we call making it. People want to make it here, like our immigrant forefathers did.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good. So Mailwood 2 is actually?
Is in the drawing stage.
Okay.
Yeah, in designing stage. And the company or the program that's running Mailwood is City Center out of Duluth. wonderful, wonderful organization. So they also provide all our supervision for Gage East and our other programs that we've started for single moms and young families who need help.
And then we pay them
Yes,
on a contract.
Yes.
And then they take care of these people for us, for
Yes.
the county.
right.
Okay. Now, you got some financial help from the federal government.
Yes, we did, Jane. We got $31 million from the ARPA funds, American Rescue Plan Act, that came from the federal government to help state and local businesses recover from COVID. So we had a lot of meetings to decide, what shall we do with $31 million? What's the best thing we can do? And I'm really proud of what are you looking, am I supposed to look somewhere else?
Okay.
No, okay, all right. I'm proud of what we've done. Most of our money, almost 20 million, is going into affordable housing.
Good.
And we gave 10 million to the Rochester Area Foundation Affordable Housing Coalition. But one of our commissioners, Commissioner Matt Flynn from Stewartville, came up with a really good idea, which is called GAIN. It's for growing affordable, inclusive neighborhoods, GAIN. So we took a $5 million investment for 500 homes that are going to be distributed throughout the county in an equitable way. So it's not all just in Rochester, but it's all throughout the county for new homeowners, new home buyers who can build a home for under $300,000, which for you and me, Jane, that just, I mean, that, I'll just take a side note. I remember in high school dreaming that I could live in a $40,000 house. It's just, that to me was like a mansion, but 40, and maybe I do live in one now, but that's my own joke. Anyway, they can build a house for under $300,000. We will give them a $10,000 help on their down payment. They do have to live there for 5 years to get it all. But this, we hope, will help 500 families get started in home ownership throughout the county. So that's the GAIN program. We allotted $100,000 to the Community Warming Center. We purchased the 105 Broadway unit that I was talking about. We gave $10 million to the Housing Coalition. So we have 11 million left, and we'll decide this spring how to spend that, what we'll use that on. So
Well,
that's the ARPA money.
That's probably better money than has been spent for a lot of the federal money.
I think it's amazing. I am very proud of the decision that we came to for how to spend that money.
Good.
Really is going to help the whole community.
Yeah. And now that you've made progress and you're working with these other organizations, is there still a need for homeless housing in the county?
Yes, it seems to be unrelenting need for affordable housing. And we have a big need for senior units, for our elderly citizens who maybe can't afford to move out of their homes because although they have a home that's hard to take care of and maybe overwhelming for them, to find something comparable that they can afford is difficult right now. They're kind of stuck. So when we build Mayowood 2 out there by Apache Mall, we're thinking that will be units for senior citizens who then can find a place that in a beautiful setting that's comfortable for them. It wouldn't have services. It's for people who can take care of themselves, but need a smaller place to live. And then that opens up all of those homes for young families who want to start.
Okay,
Yeah,
good. That's Mayowood too.
that's Mayowood 2.
Okay.
It's still on the drawing board, but it's coming along.
And you have 11 million to spend on COVID redevelopment, right?
On
Not,
things that have been impacted because of COVID.
Yeah.
Yes, and I don't know how we'll spend it yet, but we'll spend it in a way that enhances the county.
good, good. All right, what else do
Well,
you have?
over the years, I've been involved in human services all of my life, for my working life, and at the county. We had a dream maybe 5 years ago that we could open a behavioral health, mental health crisis receiving unit, because people who are in a mental health crisis don't have a lot of options. They either go to jail or they go into the emergency room. And that's not a place, either one of those is not a place to get better, especially if you're having a mental health crisis. So with 10 other counties, we built the Southeast Regional Mental Health Crisis. It's open 24/7. It's open for all ages, regardless of the nature of your crisis, regardless of your ability to pay, or if you have insurance. So it's the right place, the right time, and the right price. And we opened that this summer, and I think already it's been 186 separate individuals have made use of that crisis. It's a walk-in. You just self-refer. You can walk in and say, I'm having a really bad day or a crisis, and there are people there to help you.
Yeah.
So that's good. I'm very proud of that Southeast Regional Crisis Center. We also started a program, an outreach program, where we embed mental health practitioners with police and the sheriff when they are called out on any behavioral health or crisis call. We can de-escalate those situations in ways that law enforcement can't, because that's really not their job. Their job is to, secure things, but they're not mental health professionals. And oftentimes then we can prevent all kinds of unfortunate things from happening, and people can get the services they need. They can calm down. They have a safe place to calm down with safe people, and they won't have to go to the emergency rooms or to the jails, which is what the police have. Those are their options.
Is this a health employee of the county?
Yes, these are
assigned to
Yep.
the law enforcement?
That's right. We started with 1, and we now have 4, because the police are so impressed and grateful to have mental health workers with them.
Great.
Yeah, and
That says a lot for our law enforcement people.
well, sure, they are compassionate. They see problems, but didn't have the tools to work with it. So we have 4 people now. Who knows? We may get even more.
Wow.
Yeah. We also started a new program it's called pre-trial release, rather than having people stay in jail while they're waiting for court. We work with them to keep them out of jail and provide services for them, and we are finding that they don't miss their court appointments when it happens, and they're not reoffending while they're on release. So that program is also working very well.
There are a lot of counties in the United States that would benefit from a program like that.
I think every county would benefit from it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's good.
so talked about that.
We have
Oh,
5
Minutes.
minutes
Oh
left.
my gosh, so many things we did. Well, I want people to know that we got permission to use our ash from the waste to energy facility, and we're mixing that ash with gravel to be the foundation for roads. And we got permission to try it out, and we're trying it out at the Calmer landfill. So
Good.
big garbage trucks are gonna be going over that road. We'll see how that works, and if we can keep the ash out of our landfills, they'll last even longer. We did that. We had a groundbreaking for Oxbow Park. We're tripling the size of the nature center there, and we did that with mostly half of it with legacy funds from the state.
And the schools use that, don't they?
The schools
Yeah,
to Oxbow, the schools are coming out all the time. That is one of the most popular used parks in the
Good.
whole area,
good.
especially with that zoo there. We received a Department of Human Services Circle of Excellence Award for how we provided food, health care, and other assistance to people during COVID. We received, just for the people who like to know about finances, the county received a AAA rating from Moody's. Only 3% of the counties in the nation have that rating. Our financial stability is intact. We received a criminal justice public safety pretrial, oh yes, I talked about that award. And of course, redistricting is happening, and that's we'll have to get through this year, the redistricting.
Well, but we have to talk about redistricting.
Okay,
Is it going to change the county commissioner district?
I think if a county commissioner's district changes by more than 5% in population, there has to be a new election. So District 1, which I'm in, which is mostly downtown, only changed 3%, but some of the other ones, like in the Byron area, changed into the 30s. So I think once redistricting is done, every commissioner will be running again
This fall.
because of that. But we have to wait
Yeah.
until the federal lines are drawn, and then until the city wards and precincts are drawn. So we're the last ones to redistrict.
Okay, all right. Now, we have about 2 minutes left.
All right?
Okay, go ahead.
Go ahead. Well, let me tell you then about the 3 things that we asked the state for in our bonding requests. We would like to build a MRF, materials recovery facility, where we can collect and separate our own recyclables and sell them to the market on our own. So our recyclables don't have to be hauled all the way up to Minneapolis and separated. We asked for money for the interchange of Highway 14 and CASA 44, which, if you think of it, it's that intersection near Leeds and Leeches. Leashes, not leeches. Leeds and Leashes. It's a very dangerous intersection,
Yeah.
and so we want to reconfigure that. And we asked for money for an exhibition center at Graham Park, which some people call the fairgrounds, but at Graham Park, which will provide a structure for permanent year-round facilities and activities, and also give a permanent place for the Rochester Farmers Market. So those are our 3 bonding requests.
You know, that's a very impressive list, and I hope that all of our viewers realize that you were the chairman this last year and that your leadership has really committed and completed a very large list of needed services.
Well, thank you. You know, the county board provides a sort of vision for people. But the hard work of putting that vision into a ship and sailing that ship, you know, we say we want the ship to go that way, but building the ship and getting it ready and provisioned is the staff. We have a wonderful staff at Olmsted County. It's so, I'm so proud of everyone that works there, and everyone has worked very hard the last 2 years. COVID has affected every department. So I want to say to any staff that's watching, we are very grateful for your dedication.
Good, good. And we're very grateful to you, Stephanie Podulke, for this report and for all that you did.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, our viewers, for your interest in Olmsted County and Rochester and the surrounding area. And we thought you would enjoy this report of our County Board of Commissioners. And thank you for being with us this week. We'll be with you next week, same time, same channel. In the meantime, have a very good week and have a happy new year.